Once again, you are welcome to this training. Today, we want to look at assignment that we were given last week, and we want to do a recap of what we have learned. Okay, this is the Microsoft Project 2016 interface, and just to get ourselves accustomed to what we need to do when we want to start a project, the first thing we need to do, we need to change these tasks, new tasks to automatic. We need to check our options. We go to our options, we make sure everything is in line. We check our display if the currency is in Naira. Check our schedule, we look at the time. We look at the duration is entered in days, is correct. You come down to make sure everything, week starts on Monday, fiscal year starts in January. You look at your proofing, you look at your save language, look at your advanced, look at the default standard rate is in per day. You pay per day. Overtime rate can be left in per hour. Okay. That will be all for the options. Then we make sure we set our days. We come to work week. We make sure that we set our work week to Saturday. All right. So let's look at the working time. So to set all the Saturdays to a day that work will be done, we choose any of the Saturday. We come to work week. We double click on the work week, the where we have name, the next cell under the name, we double click it. That's what I've done. I repeat it again. You choose this, you come to work week, you double click this default. Then Saturday comes in. Then you click set this day to specific work week. You can set the time. You can say 8 a.m. tab. You can say 12. Always remember to follow this format for the time. Okay, you can have a break of 1 hour. PM. Let's assume it's a full day. You work to 5 o'clock. All right. So we can see that all Saturdays has been turned to a working day. All right. So you can, if you like, you want to change your time scale. Usually we have 3 types of tiers: top tier, middle tier, bottom tier. You can choose how many tiers you want as you want. I prefer to use 2. If you want 3, you can choose 3. You can see, and you can change them as you want. If you like, you can even make it 1. Then you can change the, so I've chosen 1. You can change how you want your data to be. Maybe it's in weeks. As you want. So just remember that usually when you change it to week, your week 1 will start on a date that you have as your start date. So under project information, start date, the system, the software has assumed today as my start date. So it starts calculating from today. All right. So that's how to set your week. Those are the basic things that you need to do. Then you begin to populate your task from here. You have already set it to auto schedule. So what we're now going to do is that I want to stop this share. I want to just open the assignments that we have been given to really look at all the things that we need to do. So I stop this share. I will share again the assignment. All right, for the assignment as a newly employed project manager for Precision Engineering Limited, your first assignment is to oversee a 3-bedroom bungalow project from start to finish to prove that you know your onions and what it takes to achieve success in a project while taking into consideration the triple constraints of a project, which are cost, quality, and time. You will need to prepare a program of work to also include resource and cost allocation. The company will handle the substructure, client to buy material and pay laborers daily, while the superstructure will be contracted out to align with the corporate global strategy and also to ensure nothing goes wrong at the foundation stage. This means the superstructure should be split into material and labor while allocating resources and superstructure to the material should be only as it is a contract. Okay. Now, what is required of us is that we are to prepare a program of work for 3 months, from clearing to foundation to carcass to finishing, adhering to 2 main tasks. These are the things that will be assessed following instruction. At this point, I want to stress a point, which is the fact that whenever we are given assignments, whenever we are given responsibilities, it is important that we pay close attention to the instructions that we are being given. Paying attention to detail is what is actually going to stand us out. We work in an industry whereby a little mistake can cost a fortune. A little mistake, in fact, can cause the destruction of lives and property. So one thing that will stand us out is that we need to pay attention to details. The instructions in this assignment, they have been properly craftily carved out to ensure that we pay attention to details. So let's look at all the things we are supposed to do. Let's look at the salient points. Number one, the program is supposed to be for 3 months. So it is assumed that if we start by April, May, June, by June 30, this program must stop. That's number one. Number two, we're expected to divide it into 2, substructural and superstructure, and of course subtasks, which will be further divided into subtasks in a logical and sequential order. It means there should be logic involved. You should have a pre-knowledge of what those steps are, and you should have an idea of the relationship that will exist between those subtasks. Your calendar should include Saturday as a working day. We have done that already. Ensure all your subtasks are linked together as appropriate. And the project start date is 3rd of January 2022. We will need to change that. Then the substructure, while entering the details, the resource sheet, work and material resource will be allocated to each subtask, except the subtask is only labor-based. When we are allocating for substructure, we will look at that. And since we are talking about cost, we are also expected the cap for the project is put at 30 million. From the Excel sheet given to us, the details, the breakdown for this 30 million is there. So it makes it very easy. So assignment is meant to be submitted in PDF and MPP file. That is the default file for Microsoft project. And our PDF should include the following columns, resource sheet. From our report, we will get the resource sheet. We get project overview, cost overview, work overview from the report, upcoming task. Okay, now we are going to go back to our Microsoft project interface, and we will try to lay our hands on the assignments. All right. So the first thing we want to do now is we want to change the project start date, because this project start date, we are supposed to put it in the 3rd day of January, which happens to be a Monday. So in effect, it means this program is supposed to run from January, February, and March. So current date, we can put it in, let's put it in that January also. Let's assume we're starting afresh. All right. So we need to now start populating our task. Now, from the Excel sheet that was given to us, we have those activities. So what we can do, instead of typing, listen to this, instead of typing those activities one by one, we can save a lot of time if we just copy and paste. So you go back to your Excel sheet, you copy all those tasks. I'm copying them now. You can't see that screen, but I've copied them. Then I come to my task sheet. I just paste them. All right. Can you see what I have done? I've just pasted all of them. This has saved me a lot of time. This has saved me a lot of time. What I just did was to go to my Excel sheet, and under substructure, I just copied all those subtasks. All right. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do same for superstructure. I'm going to do the same for superstructure. I go to my Excel sheet. I copy all of them. So it makes the work very, very fast. I copy all of them. Any question? What I did now, is it clear? I've stopped. Let me see. So we have been, the first thing we've been able to do is to populate our tasks. We have been able to populate our task. The next thing we want to do now is to assign duration to all these activities. In assigning duration to activities, they are based on the following factors. Number one, when you want to plan for a project, you will need to have an idea of the time that you have. There are different ways of, there are some projects you might not have time as a constraint. You are not under kind of duress, as it were, to finish the project on time. If that is the case, that's very good. But in this case, it's not like that. We have been given 3 months to finish this project. So in that case, what you can do is you will need to look at the resource that you are going to deploy to achieve that short duration. So for instance, if I say clearing and setting out, if that place is 2 plots of land, where I want to put this building is 2 plots of land, for instance, if I want to achieve it in a day, what it means is that I might probably need to use the exact number of people that will achieve that job in a day. But if you go and get somebody, so you want to clear, and the same day you want to do set out, and you go and get one person to do this job, the probability that that person will be able to complete it in a day is very, very slim. So in planning, you will need to be juggling between the number of workers you want to deploy to achieve a task, the equipment you want to deploy to achieve a particular task. If time is not a major constraint, it might be cheaper for you, as the case may be, to deploy less. All right, so we now begin to juggle the duration to achieve our time, to work within our time constraint. Okay, so let's see. We are now in concreting of footing. Okay, let's leave 2 days there. Block setting to ground slab, installation of footing reinforcement. We've done this. Plumbing first fix. Because of our time constraint, we will not be able to. In fact, we give them a day if they need to deploy the maximum number of workers to achieve this. All right, so we need to see how we can bring this forward. This can be done anytime. 15, backfilling, yes. Blinding will be done definitely after waterproofing. Waterproofing is just laying of nylon. So we achieve that in a day. All right, we blind also in a day. The day we waterproof, the next day is a Sunday, I guess. So on Monday we are back on site to blind. When we blind, the same day we want to lay our okay. So I tried to change the date outrightly because of the relationship. It didn't answer me, so I had to come and lag it. Let's lag it. So it has expected my wish. Then installation of reinforcement. These guys, time is not our friend. I'm sorry. We need to see how we achieve this within the shortest possible time. All right, then we cast our ground slab in a day. The substructure is complete. We were able to achieve the substructure within 19 days. If it's a serious contractor, I don't think it's too difficult. Within about 15, this 19 minus 3, 16 working days to achieve a foundation. You know, a story building has been built even within 2 months. You can do a story building, and this is just a bungalow. So it should not be, if the resources, the funds and everything, is available. It should not be something that is difficult to achieve. Now, let's move to the superstructure. So superstructure starts on the 20th. We can respect that relationship. Reinforcement, this has to run concurrently. Form work and reinforcement, they start at the same time. Or what I can do is I say start to start. All right. You can see when I say start to start, you can see they have started on the same day. Is either I change the relationship to start, or I lag the finish to start by 2 days. You will still achieve the same thing. Okay, so inspection is just a day, and then when inspection is done, it's just a milestone. That same day after inspection, we try to plan it in the morning. We start casting our column, so we can casting of column deforming, we can do it same day. Okay, so we bring it back to 22. Casting of column, deforming of column is a column, so you can remove it the next day. Okay, I just lag it by a day. All right, it's just a day, so this you don't need to do this. No way. You have to respect. Okay. Form work to roof beam. 3 days. Reinforcement to roof beam. You will make this relationship finish start to start. All right. They're starting on the same day. Inspection is just 1 day. After the inspection, that same day, we want to do what? We want to start casting our roof beam. That will be 27, right? 27, that same day. Okay, so 2 days. So this is a beam, you need to leave time for it. So you can't, even though the prop under, you can leave the prop under it, but you need to leave that time before you move to the next thing. Block setting to lintel level. All right, this will take time. There's nothing we can do about that. Plumbing second fix. They don't need to finish the block work because before you start doing this, so we can just lag by 2 days to the end of that activity. You can, a day to the end is okay. So you have, if this is ending by 8, by 7, you have started your fix. Electrical can do same at the same time. Those guys, so can lag by 3 days to be 7. These 2 guys can be doing their stuff at the same time. All right. Now there's something we need to do here. Installation of lintel. Now this lintel will come after block setting. So I need to also link these 2 activities, and let's see whether this relationship will work or not. So this relationship did not work the way I want it to work. All right, so let me try something. I want this activity to start even before. Let me see if I can lag it and see what it will give me. Let me lag it by 2 days, whether it will respect it. It's not respecting it, because what I can do now is I need to remove this link first. Let me delete it. All right. You can see what happened there. All right. You can see what happened. You know, when you have 2 relationships. At times, the software will be confused, and we always want to honor the last relationship. So when you have two relationships, you might need to delete one so that you'll be able to obey only one. So when you will finish your block work, you can begin to install your Lintel. You don't need to wait. So we will save some time there. So block setting can start. I can even start it a day. Okay, let's allow the Lintel to be okay. You can start it the next day. Roof carcass is 7 days. There's nothing you can do here. Just respect that relationship. Roof covering will also happen after you have done your carcass. So you respect that relationship. Let me see what we have now. Oh, excellent. Wow. So roof complete, yes. Window and door. Okay. Plastering 14 days. Installation of doors. 3 days. Yes, we need to finish plastering before you install that. Exterior finishing, floor finishing. You can even save some time here. But we are using the same people, you can leave it. All right, so we are still in March, and our target is in May. Our target is March, so we have a lot to do if we want to. So this plastering, we probably need to double our resources so that we'll be able to achieve all this. It will not be possible for us to be spending all this time on it again. So we have to reduce it. Floor finishing is just a small room. A week they should be able, it's just 3 bedroom, they should give them finish it within a week. Your interior finishing, floor, the ceiling, those guys, if they need to work overnight, they need to do that. And let's see how we can lag some activities here. So I want to establish start to start here. Start to start. Okay. What else can I establish? Cleaning and snagging. I want us to do it together. Start to start. We will start at the same time. Okay. You can still see that we still have 20 days that we need to knock off to be able to satisfy our clients. The only way you can achieve that is when you get more resources to achieve these tasks within the same time frame. So let's go to our finishing and see what we can do. Maybe when you finish some rooms, you can begin to install the doors and the window. You need to, then you now finish it at the same time to save time. Exterior finishing and interior finishing can go on at the same time. I'm going to save a lot of time here by saying start to start. Let's see what we have. All right. Okay. So this will be happening at the same time. So I have just 8 days left to knock off. Landscaping. Landscaping can always happen. I can even lag it. I can lag it, so I know what to do. I lag it very well. If I lag this, final electrical, final plumbing, they can happen at the same time. When you are fixing your lights, you are fixing your sanitary wares, start to start. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been able to achieve 3 months to complete this 3-bedroom flat. I don't think it's a rocket science. It's achievable. 3 months to finish a bungalow if the finances is there and it's properly planned. So now, as it were, this duration now becomes a tool for you to work. So like I told you during our last training, that 3 months is not 90 days. You can see from here now, 3 days is 75 working days. 3 months rather is 75 working days. So I have been able to streamline this program. It means that I have 15 days to plan for my foundation, and I have 60 days to do my substructure. It's an Herculean task, but I bet you it is achievable. Very, very achievable. So this program has been planned like this because my constraint is 3 months. I need to get this job done within 3 months. That's why this approach, I have adopted it. If time is not really a constraint, I will have done it differently. I will have given enough time for this job to be done. So the truth is, it's also a tight program. So it means as a project manager, all hands must be on deck to ensure that you don't have slippage on these activities. As a matter of fact, you need to now be looking at activities where you'll be able to achieve lesser than this. At times, it might require the workers working in the night. It might require getting additional resources, manpower, to be able to achieve what you want to be. We have been able to compress this 3-bedroom bungalow program for 75 working days, starting the 3rd of January 2022 and ending by 30th of March 2022. The program has been streamlined, so it is now the responsibility of the project manager to ensure that these days durations are not exceeded. They are followed up very closely. When you begin to have slippages, 1 day, 2 days, you are behind schedule. If you don't watch it, if you don't retrace back your steps and see how you can bring the project back to schedule, at the end of the day, it will be very, very difficult to achieve the delivery time. Okay, this is the first aspect of this exercise. The next aspect now has to do with the issue of let's see, resources. It has to do with the issue of resources, and to achieve that, we need to the exercise involves that we assume that these activities, we can split it to material and labor, right? Whereas the activities under superstructure, we can split it into material and labor if we wish, because the question says it's going to be under direct labor. It means you're going to be paying for material and you're going to be paying for labor. Then the second activity, the second subtask, which is the superstructure, it is assumed that you are going to give it out as a contract. All right. So now there is an Excel sheet that I want to share with us to explain to us the kind of analysis that we need to do at the background before we are able to successfully use Microsoft Project to control our costs. So I'm going to be sharing with us an Excel sheet and I'm going to be doing some explanations there. Okay, just a minute. Now, this is the Excel sheet that we were given, which has the cost elements there, which is an assumption anyway. So if you want to incorporate cost into your program of work, you can extract the costs of those activities from your bill of quantities. All right. So what I just did now is to bring the duration for these activities, to bring them on this Excel sheet. I just copied from the from the Microsoft project. So I need to change this now. Let me change it now to, this is 2 days now. This is 1 day. This is 2 days. 0, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right. So what I have on this side is to see how I can divide my costs between material and labor. All right. So what have I done? I've assumed that some critical activities I'm going to deploy engineer. For instance, let's say, just a minute. Okay, this is clear now. So you can see this. I want to see how it can correlate with what we have on our bill. I've splitted them. So I have, these are, I said under resource sheet, we have material, we have work resource, which are personnel and equipment, material resource, which are consumables, and cost resource, which are those costs that are not directly related to the task, like administrative costs, charges, overhead, transportation, and the likes. So what I've just done is to split these activities into two. Let's see, for instance, site clearing. The labor element will be dependent on the duration, whereby the material element will just be on their own. So let's assume I have 25,000, and labor, if I deploy my engineer for setting out, he will charge me 7.5 because I'm paying direct labor. I have labor. If I deploy a labor, it will be 2.5. And then tools that I want to buy, for instance, I want to rent, it's going to cost me 5,000. This is just an example. So I want to use this to get my my cost. Now, you need to understand something. At times, your labor cost might not be individual costs. It might be a gang cost. For instance, if you want to cast concrete, you might need a gang of bricklayers and laborers. In order to simplify this process, that's why it's better to use gang rate for labor other than using individual. For instance, you see things like 1 day for bricklayer buyer, I put a gang cost of 30,000 there. That gang cost might be, maybe it's just 3 bricklayers, 4 bricklayers with 2 laborers, as the case may be. So So you're at liberty to do that. All right. So what I've just done, I just used a simple Excel calculation to arrive at my cost. Basically, what this tells me is all my labor elements, we multiply the duration, then I will add the material cost to it to give me this column. That is what I have done. Okay, for instance, I have 50,000. I repeat again, this Excel sheet that I have done is to say that my labor 1 plus labor 2, engineer is also a labor as it were, work personnel. If you add this together, you multiply, if you add these two columns together, H and J, then you multiply them by the duration, which is E. Then you will now add the material cost to it. You should get your final cost, which is this. So there are some that we need to adjust now to make sure I achieve. Okay, excavation is also very important. I can deploy my engineer for excavation, for instance, and I'm going to pay him 7.5. Let's see how much I have. So I have 51,000. Let's say I have 29. So this arithmetic will have to be done before you are able to enter this in your resource sheet to make it fast. All right. So level and compact. Let's say I deploy a Wale, for instance. He's paying him 3,000, and if it's a gang, let's say a gang of 10,000 to level and compact, and my material is just 5,000 naira, for instance. So I have that 25. Okay, so let's look at the next one, blinding of trenches. Let's say I deploy Bayo bricklayer, a gang cost of, let's say, 40,000. All right, and we buy material for 60,000. Okay, so I'm just trying to divide my costs into labor and material. Usually the basic when you use thumb rule, like 30% or 40% is usually for labor, where the remaining is usually for material. That is usually the thumb rule. Okay, so let's see whether this is sync. This is not correct. If I increase by 30,000, I will have what I want, 220. Let's say we are using a gang cost for this, and we call it 10,000 naira. So we have that. This is level and compact. Let me use a gang cost also of 20,000. Then material for 5,000. Okay, so let's see the next one. I had, let's say, 59. This is 8. This is 7 plus 5, 12. 12 plus 59 is 71. Just a minute. Let's increase this to 90,000. Let's say 20,000 for the gang labor. 150, 45, 40,000. So we want to start with deploying our resource names. Can mean resource. We have three types of resource in Microsoft project. We have personnel resource, we have material resource, and we have cost resource. The personnel resource, it can be human beings, your staff, people that will work, or equipment. They still fall under work resource. Let me go to our resource sheet. You can see these types of resource: work, material, and cost. Okay, so they are all resource. This work is material, it's for personnel or equipment. Then this material is consumable, and this other one, they are indirect costs to the project. All right. So we want to begin to deploy the resources, and we want to see the cost implication of deploying the resources. Let me check for the other labor that is that was meant to be deployed to setting out. I think it's Wale. So let's deploy Wale and see what we have. Wale's cost is more. Something is wrong there. Let me see. Labor.
Yeah.
Just a minute, please. So apparently, okay, for the sake of our time, I will not want us to waste time on this, but this number might not correlate with what we have. But let's just see how we can deploy the resource and how the what's it called? The cost will show. Apparently, I've deployed somebody I'm not supposed to deploy here. Okay, it's correct now. So let's go to the next one. It's supposed to be 25, but we are getting this labor. There's a labor that is 2,005 per day. Maybe I didn't enter it very well. There's a labor that is 2,005.
Oh my God. Okay, if I ask for what nylon now, see inside this place, waterproof, full inside. Hi, this thing now, come see the carpet everywhere and a POP white.
And now we can hear you.
For nylon now. Oh my God, sorry.
All right, so so excavation, we're in excavation now. Let me see. We have Wale there, right? Wale tools. Wale, let me deploy Wale. Wale is there. And tools for excavation. So we are having some differences. Let me see where those differences are coming from. Okay, so I don't really want to waste much time here, but those numbers are not adding up. But it's something we can always change and trace it if we have entered this correctly. So level and compact is supposed to be material for level and compact, and Wale also. Wale is 10,000, material for level and compact. Let's see whether this will be correct. This is 25,000. Okay, that is correct. Then blinding, bio bricklayer. Blinding, bio bricklayer. We have so many bios here. Material for blinding. Material for blinding. Okay. All right, 100,000. That's correct. Footing. We have Dio welder. We have Dio welder, and we have material for footing. So there's a difference there. Okay, so I will not want to waste too much time here. Because of our time, we need to end this meeting. But basically, if you have done your Excel sheet well and you have named them very well, when you begin to deploy your resource, you begin to see the costs. All right. Now, I want to show us the beauty of this. Now, let's look at this. If our cost is 20,000, if I have worked for 50%, okay, you can see my actual cost comes to 10,000 naira. Please, let's listen to this as we're about to round up. All right. So when you begin to deploy when you start the job, if you have done 50% and the cost for this item of work is 20,000, it means you have delivered, the value of work done is 10,000. All right. So if you, for instance, if the cost for this activity is 100,000, if I have done 40%, the cost is supposed to be 40,000. That's where the difference between the actual cost and the cost comes in. So that's how we are supposed to populate these activities. Then under superstructure, we are supposed to lift those activities direct. Let me quickly do one now. Column kickers, for instance, I go to resource sheet. I say material for column kicker. Material for column kicker. So here is just material only, and let me see the cost. The cost, for instance, is let's say 45,000. I just put 45,000 here. So I can deploy that directly there. I can deploy that directly. Column kicker. Material for column kicker. Okay. So the 45,000 comes in there straight. All right. So that's how we will do this. We don't need to split this into two. Okay? We don't need to split this into two. All right. Now, we should please note that for all these activities under superstructure, we have to ensure that we make it fixed work. I mentioned this to us earlier. If you want to treat a job as a contract that you don't want duration to affect the cost implication, I will show you now. You make sure that you select material for this, and you one by one you will have to pick fixed work. You have to do that for all this. What do I mean? If you look at this, for instance, now, if I increase the duration of this activity, you will see that the cost will go up. So the cost has gone up, and of course, percentage complete changed. So if you don't want to do that, you need to fix those work for this place. All right. So when we are done, all we just need to do is to generate our report. All the reports we want, we can generate it: cost overview, project overview, and then stuff like that. The report will come out. You can easily save it in PDF, print it in PDF, and save it. You just save. Just save like this, and you click save. So that is what we are expected to do. So I think I've given us enough today. If we do too much, it will be difficult for us to assimilate. So we need to stop here. I need to entertain questions now. so that we call it a day for today, and you have time to practice these things yourself and ask questions. I know you will meet some challenges. I'm always there to answer. Questions, please.
Please, about the baseline,
Yes.
what did you set it to? Is it entire project or selected task?
It's for everything.
Okay.
Just all you just need to do is you go to project, set baseline, just set baseline. You understand? You just click OK.
Yeah.
It has saved it.
Okay.
So that is any other question, please? So with this now, I want us to lay our hands on the assignment, and I'm giving us a whole week because next week Saturday I will not be around. But please, on Sunday, let's make plan to go through this what we have done today, lay our hands on it, and I want us to submit by Sunday. I want us to meet next week Sunday. I will not be chanced on Saturday. So on Sunday, can we have the last class on Sunday, please?
Yes, sir.
So before that time, it is expected that please we lay our hands on this. I will try and send all these recordings to us so that we can
Yes,
make reference to it. If you are stuck, you can send me a WhatsApp message. I will always be there to answer those questions and put us through.
All right, sir.
Okay. In the absence of any other question, so I want to call it again.
Please, there's one more thing. Is the
Right.
baseline cost supposed to update as the cost updates?
Okay, let's see what the problem is there. Baseline cost is not coming up. Okay. Okay, let's do something now. Let's set another baseline date. Let's say baseline 1. Still not coming up. Okay, so I'm coming. Let me add baseline 1 costs. Baseline. Okay, that's come up,
Okay.
right? Is that clear? So like I said, so the baseline will only come up when, okay, let me see. Okay. Now, baseline will not come up. All these costs will not come up until you assign resource. You can see that they are 0. So if you don't deploy a resource to an activity,
Okay.
the cost will not come.
Not come. Okay.
So even if you deploy this and if you don't start the activity also,
To not start.
cost will not
Yeah.
be. So the way this thing works is you are supposed to make sure you deploy all your resource. You can see it's not even answering now. It's not even answering. So you make sure okay, this is because, okay, this is an inspection. No? This is 0 days. No, let's go to, that's a milestone. Okay. So it has come up now. This is a milestone, it's 0 days. That's why it's not coming up. Now,
All right.
so the cost is coming up, but the actual cost is not coming up. Why? Because you have not
0%.
started that job. So when you start this job now, actual cost will come. You understand? When you deploy this resource, just an example, the actual cost comes. This is the cost of deploying this resource. But when you don't start it, the actual cost will not come until you start it. So if you want this baseline cost to come out now, you need to save this again because we have made some changes and update to baseline number 2 before this line comes out. Is that okay?
Which line?
Before the baseline comes out. Okay.
Please, I missed that. Which line before
I
which
said
line comes out?
baseline costs. If you make a change, if you remember very well, I said earlier that a baseline is like a snapshot. So when you save as a baseline and you make change after that baseline, that cost implication will not come out until you now save again. And I said that you can save baseline 11 times. You understand? You can even run analysis to compare between baseline cost. You can run that analysis also. So if after you've saved as a baseline and you make any change, the cost implication of that change will not be captured on the baseline cost. Or else, when you change again, for instance, I can now change to say baseline 3 now. I will not capture it. So, but it's always important to make your changes before you want to check your analysis on the baseline.